Well, good morning. Another great day, brisk morning here at Hanses Point as we are about 5 days away from leaving. Starting to look at weather windows and see what things look like. Coming out of here and through the northeast rivers, nothing really too crazy. It's pretty protected, but we will eventually get down into the actual open Chesapeake, so we got to be really careful. So anyway, starting to look at weather windows, and really in final prep. We have to tackle two things today. One, gummy bear plugs, trailer plugs. That's going out. Those are coming out today. We are redoing engine wiring as long as this project goes according to plan. So one of the issues that we've chased with the boat since purchase is intermittent depth reading on our chart page of our Simrad, and I've done a firmware update. I've done some adjusting. Nothing's really ever helped it. So talking to Luke here at Hanses Point, he mentioned, well, maybe there's some anti-foul paint on the transducer that should not be, because we're getting a reading. It defaults to like 1.6, 1.7. And it doesn't matter how fast we're going. It'll come in and it'll work sometimes and it'll show depth, and then other times it won't, and there's really no rhyme or reason. So we're gonna pull the boat out. We're gonna sand off any foul that's on that transducer today, and then we're going to apply transducer anti-foul, which I've heard is not the best, but we're gonna try. And we're gonna get that on and then splash the boat again this afternoon. And then hopefully by then we are ready to work on engine work. So we'll see how that goes. Otherwise, a great day, and very beautiful out here. Cold, but a pretty morning. So come along for the ride. Let's see how we can progress along. Well, she's out, and outside of needing a bottom job, we had a little bit of growth under at our transducers there, so we cleaned that up and repainted her up. Let's see if this helps our depth issue. I went in for a drink as well, pulling the boat out. And it's 41 degrees outside, so that was an experiment. So here we go. This boat is about as disastrous as it gets. Oh boy, we got a project on our hands. Well, welcome to Northeast Maryland. We are really kind of on the backward spiral of been here about a month or so, month and a half, and getting ready to kind of close things up and move on down the ICW here just about a week before Thanksgiving. So right now it's it's Saturday, I believe it's November 11th. And again, like I mentioned in the last video, you're pretty much real time with us here. So we have some projects that we've got to complete before we leave to kind of tighten things up a little bit. One of those was to kind of get some electrical things sorted out with our inverter, and then as well as our fridge, and then some plug options. So that's why the boat is just a disaster. Lisa and Ainsley went to go do laundry and go do some grocery shopping, so it's just me. So it's even though it looks disastrous, it's really not as bad as it actually appears. So let's talk about some of the things we're working on. So we installed some lighting here around the rim of the boat, around the rim of the inside of the boat here, trying to just brighten it up in here a little bit better at night. We haven't had a chance to go, and I haven't had the opportunity to purchase lights to replace the ones that come with the boat yet, but that's just on my list. But this was kind of a cheaper and quicker alternative for now. So on these old Catalina panels, there is usually some 12-volt plugs across, pretty much everywhere all over the boat. Ours had what looked to be the original, and it was not functioning. And then what I've also learned is I have two dead switches here on my panel, so that is something I'll have to contend with. But in the meantime, we have got a dual 12-volt plug here, and now we are no longer running our fridge off of our inverter, it is running off 12-volt power, which, if those of you that know that'll save us a little bit in terms of battery. Come down here below the nav station. Our inverter is mounted up and good to go. That's screwed in place, actually charging my drill battery now. And then you see our cables for our solar install here, kind of dangling here. I have this handy dandy cable clamp here from Blue Sea. We're going to install this into the deck and actually run Starlink and our solar install cables through this cable clamp, make it waterproof through the deck, so we no longer have to worry about those through the hatches or through the companionway. So looking forward to this. This will make our lives really significantly easier getting in and out. So we're going to install that in this video today. And really, it's like I said, kind of coming down to the last few steps before we're ready to kind of go. We're really coming down to the final things here left to do to the Beagle Bee before we head down to the ICW. One of the few things we've got left to do is just kind of provision a little bit, button things up, but more importantly, we've got to finish resolving that electrical issue that we knew was going to plague us and really reared its head in Cape May. And we'll be doing that in that video today, but ultimately we need to get rid of those trailer plugs in our wiring harness. So fingers crossed we've got everything for it, and it's as harmless as it feels. It looks daunting, but everything I've read says it's going to be pretty easy. So stay tuned. It's going to be really interesting to see how that pans out. I look forward to that. We've also got to check on the dinghy. I think we've got either the plug in the back of the dinghy is leaking, or there's a pinhole in the floor of the boat. So we're going to check on that as well. So a couple projects before we get ready to head down the ICW. So why don't you settle in? It's going to be an interesting one.
So this is what provisions look like. Me and Ainsley have been out shopping, and we're not done yet. We still have to make one more trip. But we went to Aldi's because that's my favorite. Got tortillas, ham, cheese, breakfast sausage, BJ's, and got cheese and hamburger and all that stuff. Canned goods down there, a whole bunch of those. Can't go anywhere without the diaper wipes. Then we ran to Harbor Freight and picked up a few things. Let's see if I can get to it, I'll show you. Sean needed some bolt cutters. I'm sure you'll see what all that's about. If you haven't already, I don't know. We'll just see kind of what order this video goes in. Chips, bananas, eggs, all that good stuff. Bunch of canned goods. Aldi's had cream of chicken for 49 cents, so I made sure to stock up on that. Apple juice for the baby, you know, just all the fun stuff. But yeah, provision life. At least we had a car. That was nice. Oh, and the, you know, I don't even know how many gallons of diesel and gas in the back of the car right now because it smells wonderful. But we are headed south tomorrow. There's the Beagle Bee right over there. If I can get you a close-up view. We are headed south tomorrow, and that is so exciting. I am so ready to get on this adventure and get ready to go.
All right, so here we go. This is the gummy bear / trailer plugs that has given us so many starting issues over the last 6 months or so, off and on, but really plagued us in Cape May. This is one half of it. I actually pulled it apart here, and it has started to just come apart in my hand, which is to be expected. So what's going to happen is I'm going to take these out, and I have a bus bar that I wanted to use, but I don't have the right connectors on hand, so I may butt connect these. We'll see. So yeah, here we go. Here goes nothing. I'm going to cut these plugs out and rewire. So here's what's left of the harness. This is what those 8-pin connectors house, and this one was grody. As actually the minute I cut one of these wires, it cracked the housing of this completely. and it literally just started coming apart in my hands. This is what everybody expects to happen. This did not resolve the intermittent starting issue that we were experiencing. It's better because before we couldn't start at all. Now it's intermittent. It's back to being that way. So, with that said, this is the plugs only from the engine side. There is another set of plugs out at the panel that we've got to work on. That it's a little too cold outside today to be out there to do it, so I want to do that tomorrow. But ultimately, we are halfway there, and it's good to have. It feels good to have these gone. Let's just say that. We wouldn't be rushing if it wasn't, well, we wouldn't be us if we didn't have any last minute things. Night before we leave here and head towards the ICW, and I need to install a couple things. One is this cable clamp. I think I talked about this in a previous clip, but we're going to take this, and I don't know why I'm nervous about this, but I am. By the way, forgive the boat. It is a complete disaster. I'm going to install this over here to run our Starlink and solar cables through our deck. Something about drilling a hole in your boat is just not intuitive to me, but here goes nothing. Well, Molly, we did it. Stay. I actually lied. We didn't put the hole in the boat yet. We just put the frame on. Here comes the hole. The boat projects never end and the provisioning never stops, but eventually you have to cast the lines, make some decisions, and just get out there. When do we decide to do that? We have to find out in the next video.